بسم اللہ الرحمن الرحیم۔ السلام علیکم میرے تمام وہ اسٹوڈنٹس، وہ تمام بچے بچیاں جو اپنی گریجویشن کمپلیٹ کرنے کے بعد CSS اور PMS اور دیگر ادارہ جاتی مقابلہ جاتی ایگزامس میں تیاری کر رہے ہیں۔ آج ان کے لیے لیٹسٹ انفارمیشن ہے پرسنالٹیز کے حوالے سے، اور آج کی پرسنالٹی جو ہے وہ ہے ایکس پریزیڈنٹ USA براک وبامہ۔ تو اس سے پہلے کہ ہم مزید ڈیٹیلز میں جائیں، برائے مہربانی آرچ نوٹیفکیشن A&O چینل کو سبسکرائب کر لیں، اور ویڈیو کے دیکھنے کے بعد اینڈ پہ کمنٹس سیکشن میں اور ای میل جو ڈسکرپشن باکس میں دیا ہوگا اس میں ضرور آپ سوالات کر سکتے ہیں۔ کوئی کنفیوژنز ہیں تو اس کو کلیئر کر سکتے ہیں۔ تو چلتے ہیں آج کی ویڈیو کی طرف۔ براک وبامہ biography, or first of all we will discuss timeline and major events about Barack Obama. Timeline: events significant to the life of Barack Obama. 1863 President Abraham Lincoln signs Emancipation Proclamation. Barack often associates himself with President Lincoln. When he announced his candidacy for the election 2008, he spoke in front of Old State Capitol building in Springfield, Illinois, where Lincoln famously declared, "A house divided against itself cannot stand." In 1895, Barack's paternal grandfather, Hussein Obama, is born in Kenya. 1920 August 18. The 19th Amendment to the US Constitution is ratified, giving women the right to vote. It's very important to know the women got right to vote in USA in 1920 August 18. In 1929 January 15, Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. is born. Another useful MCQs or short question. In 1936, Barack's father, Barack Obama Sr., is born in Kenya. In 1940 and 1945 period of 5 years, during World War II, Barack's paternal grandfather, Hussein Onyang Obama, served as a cook to a British Captain Stanley Gramps Denham. Barack's maternal grandfather and Medallion Toots Denham elopes just prior to the attack at Pearl Harbor on December 7, 1941. Stanley enlists in the army soon after the attacks, and Medallion works on a bomber plane assembly line. Barack's mother, Stanley Ann Denham, known as Ann, is born in 1942, while her father, Stanley, is posted at an army base. In 1946, August 19, President William Clinton is born. Another important MCQs or a short question, general knowledge. In 1947, October 26, Senator Hillary Clinton is born. 1953, June 10, Senator John Edward is born. These are very important for the students who are studying international relations or IR or preparing generally for the CSS and PMS in Pakistan, and also very useful information for people living in the globe. 1959, Barack's grandparents, Stanley Gramps and Madeline Toots Denham, and their daughter, Stanley Ann Denham, Barack's mother, moved to Hawaii. Ann Denham, after being accepted by the University of Chicago, decided to enroll at the University of Hawaii. She is 18-year-old. Barack Obama Sr. leaves Kenya to attend the University of Hawaii at the age of 23. Ann Denham and Barack Obama Sr. meet as a student at the University of Hawaii. They are soon married. 1960, September 26, the first Nixon-Kennedy debate is televised. 1961, May 4, civil rights activist known as the Freedom Riders ride interstate buses into the segregated South. They are subsequently arrested for trespassing an unlawful assembly and are met with firebombs and riots. Many suffer at the hands of racists. August 4, same year, Barack Hussein Obama is born in Hawaii. 1963, Barack Obama Sr. accepts a scholarship to attend Harvard University. Ann and Barack stay in Hawaii. Barack Obama Sr. leaves the United States to return to Kenya. He and Ann Denham Obama are divorced. August 28, Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. delivers his "I Have a Dream" speech in Washington, D.C. November 22, President John F. Kennedy is assassinated. 1964, January 17, Michael Robinson Obama is born. July 2, President Johnson signs the Civil Rights Act into law. October 14, Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. wins the Nobel Peace Prize for his work promoting human rights. 1965, March 7, in what later is known as Bloody Sunday, state and local police attack 600 civil rights marchers with clubs and tear gas in Selma, Alabama. March 21, Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. leads a civil rights march from Selma, Alabama to Montgomery, Alabama. July 28, President Johnson commits 50,000 more troops to the conflict in Vietnam, taking the U.S. force to a total of 125,000. August 6, President Johnson signed legislation to enact the Voting Rights Act. In 1967, Ann Denham Obama marries Lolo Sotito, an Indonesian student attending the University of Hawaii. Lolo leaves Hawaii for Indonesia and makes plans for her and Barack to follow. Barack leaves Hawaii to move to Jakarta, Indonesia, with his mother and his stepfather. Barack's half-sister Maya is born in Indonesia. In 1968, April 4, Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. is assassinated. June 6, Senator Robert F. Kennedy is assassinated. August 28, anti-war protesters demonstrate at the Democratic Convention in Chicago. 1969, November 16, an estimated 250,000 people gathered in Washington, D.C. to protest the Vietnam War. 1970, June 22. President Richard Nixon signs an extension of the Voting Rights Act that lowers the voting age to 18, known as the 26th Amendment to the Constitution. It in ratified on July 1, 1971. In 1971, براک leaves Indonesia to live with his grandparents in Hawaii. Anne and Barak's half-sister Maya stay in Indonesia. He is 10-year-old. Fall. As a fifth grader, براک attended the prestigious prep school Penhall Academy. Barack Obama Sr., recuperating from a serious car accident, visits Barack in Hawaii. Barack was 2 when his father left Hawaii for Harvard Law School. In 1979, Barack's paternal grandfather Hussein Onyango Obama dies in Kenya. Barack graduates from Penhall Academy. After being accepted by several schools, he enrolls in Occidental College in Los Angeles. Having always been called Barry by friends and family, he is now called Barack, which means blessed in Arabic. In 1980, as a sophomore, Barack gets involved with the South African divestment campaign on campus and gives his first speech at a rally. 1981, August. Barack, now 20-year-old, transfers from Occidental College to Columbia University in New York City. In 1982, Barack receives a call from Nairobi, Kenya. It is his aunt Jane, whom he has never met, telling him that his father has been killed in a car accident. Barack is 21-year-old at that time. In 1983, Barack graduates from Columbia University. He takes a job in New York as a research assistant at a consulting firm. 1984, President Ronald Reagan signs a policy directive designed to combat international terrorism. This gives the United States the power to launch preventive and retaliatory strikes against foreign terrorists. 1985, Barack accepts a position as a community organizer and moves to Chicago. During his 3 years on the job, his half-sister Uma visits him and he learns about his father and the family in Kenya. In 1988, February, Barack is accepted by Harvard Law School. Prior to attending classes in the fall, he makes his first trip to Kenya. Fall. At 27 years of age, Barack begins law school. In 1989 summer, Barack returned to Chicago as an intern at a law firm. He meets Michael Robinson, his future wife, who is assigned as his mentor. She graduated from Harvard Law School in 1990. During his second year of law school, Barack is elected president of the prestigious Harvard Law Review. He is the first African American to be elected to the position in the review's 104 years history. In 1991, Barack graduates magna cum laude from Harvard Law School. After being heavily recruited by law firms across the nation, he returns to Chicago to practice civil rights law. In 1992, Barack and Michelle Robinson are married. Barack and Michelle visited Kenya prior to their marriage to meet Barack's family. They moved to Hyde Park, a suburb on Chicago's south side. Barack's grandfather, Stanley Dunham, dies prior to Barack and Michelle's marriage. Barack becomes the director of Illinois Project Vote, helping to register nearly 50,000 voters. William Jefferson Clinton is elected President of the United States. 1993, Barack goes to work at public interest law firm to work on civil rights, employment, discrimination, fair housing, and voting rights. Barack is named in Crain's magazine's list of 40 under 40 outstanding young leaders in the city of Chicago. Barack joins the faculty of University of Chicago Law School as a senior lecturer teaching constitutional law. Michelle Obama joins the Chicago Office of Public Allies, a program that assists young people to find employment in public service. February 26, a bomb explodes in the World Trade Center in New York. 1995. Barack publishes his first book, Dreams from My Father. 1996, Barack is elected to Illinois State Senate as a Democrat representing the Illinois 30th Legislative District. In 1997, January, State Senator Barack Obama arrives in Springfield, Illinois to serve his constituency from the south side of Chicago. In 1998, Barack and Michelle's first daughter, Malia, is born. In 2000, Barack enters the race of the U.S. House of Representatives against the four-term incumbent Bobby Rush. He loses by a 2-1 margin. George W. Bush is elected president. 2001, Barack and Michelle's second daughter, Sasha, is born. September 11, often referred to as 9/11, Al-Qaeda launches a series of coordinated suicide attacks in New York, Washington, D.C., and Pennsylvania. 2002, mid-year, Barack announced to his friends his decision to run for the U.S. Senate. Fall 2002. A majority of Americans are convinced that Saddam Hussein has weapons of mass destruction and is personally involved in the 9/11 attacks. October 2002. The Senate votes to give President W. Bush the power to go to war in Iraq. October 2. Barack speaks to a crowd of anti-war activists stating his opposition to the war. 2004, March 16, Barack wins the primary election for the U.S. Senate with 53% of the vote. He would face Republican Alan Keyes in the general election. July 27, Barack delivers the keynote speech at the Democratic National Convention in Boston, Massachusetts. The speech lasts approximately 50 minutes with a margin of victory of 70% over Alan Keyes 27%. Barack is elected to the U.S. Senate. He is the only African in the U.S. Senate and the fifth African American in the U.S. history. December month, Barack signs a contract for 3 more books, including a child's book to the written with Michelle. In 2005, January 4, Barack is sworn as a member of the 109th Congress of the United States. Shortly after his swearing in as the junior senator from Illinois, Barack and his team begins making plans for a 15th day trip to Africa. Upon his return from Africa, plans began in earnest about a run for the presidency in the 2008 election. براck is one of two freshman senators on the powerful Senate Foreign Relations Committee. August, براck travels to the Russia with Republican Senator Richard Logar and others to inspect nuclear and biological weapon sites. He then co-sponsors a bill that will reduce the stockpiles of these types of weapons. August, Hurricane Katrina devastates the southern coastal regions of the United States. براck speaks about poverty issues and the government's handling of the devastation. During his first 2 years as a senator, براck travels around the world studying nuclear proliferation, AIDS, and the violence in the Middle East. Speculation continues about whether he is considering a presidential run. 2006, براck publishes his second book, The Odyssey of Hope. Thoughts on Reclaiming the American Dream. October 22, year 2006. براck appears on the NBC television show Meet the Press, where he tells commentator Tim Rosert that it is fair to say he is thinking about running for president in 2008. October 23, براck appears on the cover of Times magazine in an article entitled Why Barack Obama Could Be the Next President. November after 2006. After the Democrats takes control of Congress in the general elections, discussions about Barack's presidential bid take on more urgency, with Michelle Obama opinions the key to the decision on whether he will run. December 2006, Michelle determines she is on the board with her husband running for president. December 2006, براck visits New Hampshire, an early presidential primary state, and tells an audience that the media describe as rock star size, the America is ready to turn a page and new generation is prepared to lead. 2007, January. براck tells US News and the World Report that he believes there is a great hunger for change in America. Same month, براck takes another step in a presidential bid by posting a message on his website and sending an email message to his website subscribers that he is forming a presidential exploratory committee. He tells his supporters and subscribers that the decision to run after the presidency is a profound one and that he wants to be sure whatever decision he makes is right for him, his family, and the country. براck says he will tell his friends, neighbors, and Americans by February 10 what his plans are regarding running for president. February 10, on a frigid day in Springfield, Illinois, in front of a crowd estimated to be the least 10,000 people, براck announces that he is running for president of United States. March. A USA Today Gallup poll finds that 1 in 10 say they will not vote for a woman or Hispanic, and 1 in 20 say they will not vote for a black, Jewish, or Catholic candidate. March. براck announces his campaign has raised more than 1 lakh donations, totaling at least $25 millions, or 6.9 million is generated through internet donations. March. براck speaks at Brown Chapel AME Church in Selma, Alabama. on the Bloody Sunday. He tells the assembly that the event in 1965, when state and local police attacked 600 civil rights marchers, clubs and tear gas, enabled his parents, a mixed race couple, to marry. April. Many in the media cast Barack as a candidate who has refused money from Washington lobbyists and who used the internet to garner support and contributions. April. Barack announces the 5 initiatives: bringing the Iraq war to an end, modernizing the military, stopping the spread of weapons of mass destruction, rebuilding alliances and partnerships, and investing in our common humanity. May. Barack is placed under Secret Service protection, the earliest ever for a US presidential candidate. May. Barack is selected by Time magazine as one of the world's most influential people. July. A Newsweek magazine poll finds that race is no longer the barrier it once was in electing a president. A clear majority, 59%, say that country is ready to elect an African American president, up from 37% at the start of the decade. December. A report by a Pew Research Center finds that fewer people are making judgment about candidates based solely or even mostly on race itself. 2008. Barack is consistently considered to be a front-runner in national and state polls, along with Senator Hillary Clinton and Senator John Edwards. January 3. Barack's first test comes at the Iowa caucus. He sails to victory with 38% of the state delegate vote in a contest that features a record turnout of at least 239,000. The win gives his presidential campaign an early and extremely important boost. January 8. In first presidential primary for the 2008 election, New Hampshire, the second test for his candidacy, with polls suggesting an enormous victory, Barack takes second place behind Senator Hillary Clinton, with 36% of the vote to Clinton's 39%. January 15. Michigan holds its primary, but the votes do not count as the Democratic National Party stripped the state of its delegates for violating party rules by holding the primary too early. Barack had withdrawn his name from the ballot. Hillary's name remained, but no delegates are awarded. January 19. The campaigns moved to Nevada for the state's caucus. More than 117,000 voted compared to the 9,000 that voted in 2004. Hillary wins the contest with 51% of the vote to Barack's 45%. January 25. South Carolina holds its primary. Voters came out in droves to hear Barack's message. Barack wins 55% of the vote, doubling Hillary's share. January 29. Florida holds its primary. As in the Michigan primary, the votes do not count and the Democratic National Party strips the delegates from violating party rules. Both Barack and Hillary had agreed not to campaign in the state. However, Hillary had held fundraising events there. No delegates are awarded. February 5. Known as Super Tuesday, 22 states hold either a primary or a caucus. In all, there are more than 2,000 delegates at stake, including the delegates-rich states of California with 441, Illinois with 185, and New York with 281. When all the votes are counted, Barack wins 13 individual states, including his home state of Illinois. Hillary wins 8 states, including her adopted home state of New York. The popular votes from Super Tuesday makes it a very close race. Clinton wins popular votes or 50.20%. Obama wins 49.80%. February 9, the state of Nebraska, Washington, Louisiana, and the Virgin Islands holds contests where excitement is high and the turnout is record-breaking. With a total of 203 delegates at stake, Barack wins all 4 states. February 10, Miami holds its caucus with 34 delegates at stake. Barack wins 59% of the vote. Hillary wins 40% only. February 12, known as the Potomac primaries, Washington, D.C., Maryland, and Virginia holds their primaries for a total of 240 delegates. Barack sweeps all 3 states, winning 35% of the vote to Hillary's 24% in Washington, D.C. In Maryland, Barack wins 60% to Hillary's 37%, and in Virginia, Barack wins 64% to Hillary's 35%. February 19, the campaign moves to Washington for a primary with 121 delegates at stake and to Hawaii with 20 delegates. To no one's surprise, Barack carries Hawaii with 76% of the vote. In Washington, Barack wins 58% to the Hillary. March 4, another Tuesday which with delegates Texas, Ohio, Vermont, and Rhode Island holds contests. Hillary is favored to win in Texas with 193 delegates and Ohio with 141 delegates. When all votes are counted, Barack wins Vermont by 30 points and Hillary wins the other 3 states. March 8, with 18 total delegates, Wyoming holds its primary. Barack wins 61% to Hillary's 38%. March 11, Mississippi holds its primary with 40 delegates at stake. Barack wins 61% to Hillary's 37%. Both campaigns prepare for the next primary in Pennsylvania on April 22, 2008, where they will vie for 188 delegates. The primary calendar includes contests in Guam on May 3, Indiana and North Carolina on May 6, West Virginia on May 13, Kentucky and Oregon on May 20, Puerto Rico on June 1, and Montana and South Dakota on June 3. March 18, at the National Constitution in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Barack speaks for nearly 40 minutes about race and racial rhetoric. Afterwards, many compared it to Dr. Martin Luther King's I Have a Dream and speech.